The Wild, Wild West. The playoff pairings are set. Kevin Connors, Bruce Bowen, J.A. Donde, and Flip Saunders. Well, we've got the defending Western Conference champion Oklahoma City Thunder going up against their old pal James Harden and the Houston Rockets now. We've got a high-scoring matchup between the Warriors and the Nuggets. And don't forget about the Spurs and the Lakers. What a matchup that could be. Bruce, what's the one storyline out west that you're interested in watching here in the playoffs?
Denver and the Golden State Warriors. You know, Denver Nuggets they scored 106 points a game during the regular season, and the Golden State Warriors scored 101. So I'm really looking to see how those two teams will take it back to the 70s where people played in chains even though they were getting up and down the floor.
All that scoring, that doesn't eat at your soul as a defender. People are just going to be going unabated to the basket. I agree. I can't wait to watch that series. But what I'm interested to see what develops out of that, what happens when the points are harder to come by? Late game situations, who's going to get those buckets for the Denver Nuggets? I think that guy is Ty Lawson. He's capable of doing it, and he's going to have to do it if the Nuggets are going to get to the conference finals.
Yeah. I want to look at the process of winning a championship. We look way back when you had Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons had to go through the Celtics. Then you had Michael Jordan and the Bulls had to go through the Pistons. Now we've got Oklahoma City. Who's in the way? The Miami Heat. What's the process of they take the evolution to go to try to beat them? And what makes it even tougher, they don't have James Harden anymore. Now they got to play against him in the first round. I'm interested to see how that all plays out.
What about that first round matchup, round two, between the Clippers and the Grizz? Am I the only one looking forward to that?
No, you're not. I think the point guard play is going to be huge there as far as Chris Paul being able to enforce his will against a smaller Conley Jr. and, you know, getting other guys involved as well as far as Lob City.
I want to see if the Clippers are going to play the defensive level that we know the Grizzlies are going to bring. Can the Clippers match that? Can Blake Griffin match Chris Paul's star level and give them that second superstar that they're going to need?
It's all about the big men. You got the Grizzlies inside going with Gasol, going with Randolph against Griffin and Jordan. You got two guys that can shoot free throws and two guys that can't shoot free throws. Who's going to prevail?
I thought you were talking about when you said big guys inside and can't shoot free throws, Dwight Howard, who's now leading the Lakers up against
underdog
the
Lakers.
That the underdog is right. And the playoffs get underway on Saturday on ESPN and ABC. For Flip Saunders, J.A. Donde, and Bruce Bowen, I'm Kevin Connors.
And the Western Conference playoff preview show continues. We're talking 2-7 matchup in the West. Now, the Spurs, we knew they were going to get into postseason, but guess who crashed the party and made good on their star player's promise to get to the dance? That's right, the Lakers. Tim Duncan, what a season. Fountain of youth, Smitty, at age 36.
Vince has been remarkable the way he's changed his body, and then he's getting a chance to pick up old T-Mac. The Fountain of Youth is hit. Tracy McGrady as well. He's back.
Tracy McGrady back in the league, cutting Captain Jack a week before the playoffs. The Lakers, well, they did it for the Gipper. They won their last 5 regular season games, even with Kobe not there to see the finish. And now it's all about LA's big men standing taller than ever without Kobe. The Spurs won 2 of 3, but that third game was back on Sunday and a must-win for LA. And the first AK after Kobe had gone out with the Achilles injury. Dwight Howard has been the Lakers' leading scorer in the series. And the good news for Laker fans is how well Dwight has been playing sans Kobe. And Smitty, that's where I want to go with you. We've seen Dwight of late, and it's almost like he's wearing that magic blue again. He looks like the old Dwight Howard.
Well, he's active. You can see he's been all over the glass in that game against the Spurs. He had 26 points and 17 rebounds, but he's getting more touches. I mean, they're definitively going down to him, Coach, and he's making teams pay. That matchup against him and Tim Duncan, they went at it old school, two bigs colliding. I think that's the way Dwight has to play. That's the way the Lakers have to play. They got to go right into Dwight, and he has to make things happen. I think sometimes, Coach, when you're a star, you know, when you're in Orlando, you can catch the basketball. If you don't like it, you kick it back out. You get your rhythm with a lot of touches. He was never in rhythm when you have so many guys that needed the basketball, and Powell, Kobe, and himself. You know, he had to make a move, make it quick, and he didn't get a lot of touches. Now he's getting those touches. You can see on the other end, he's rebounding the basketball and controlling the paint. He's had 3 block shots and 4 block shots in the last 2 games.
You might think, looking at this, that the second seed with 58 wins, playing the 7th seed with 45 wins, this is going to be a lopsided series. But let's go back to the 3 games, which San Antonio won 2 out of the 3. 2-point game, 3-point game, 5-point game. So all 3 games were very close. Both teams had a real hard time shooting the ball, 41% shooting in the 3 games for both teams. From the 3-point line, San Antonio made 40% of their 3-point shots. That could wind up being the difference in the end. But I would say right now that in the Laker locker room, they are not afraid of playing San Antonio.
Well, I want to move closer to the basket and talk about the front court matchup with San Antonio and the Lakers, and that is with Splitter and Duncan and Powell and Dwight Howard, and in particular, how effective Powell and Dwight Howard were back in their last matchup. Okay, gentlemen, one final order of business here to review. These are the teams you said would come out of the first round. So we're now going to match these up in the next round and pick a winner here. So, Mike Fratello, let's start at the top. Thunder or Clippers?
Oklahoma City.
All right. Smitty?
I agree with Mike, so we great minds think alike.
All right. How about Nuggets and the Spurs?
San Antonio.
I pick San Antonio as well. You can't keep letting them go first, Vince. No, I'm just playing.
All right, now we're getting down to brass tacks. Thunder and the Spurs. Smitty, if you will, who will it be?
I'm going with OKC, so you can move that over. Coach, you agree with me?
No.
You do not agree?
Put San Antonio on top of that.
Coach said I got to put San Antonio.
That's okay.
This could be the last run for the Spurs, but I've got them going into the finals.
I have OKC, so we
disagree right at the very end. OKC and San Antonio. Now, who's coming out of the Eastern Conference, Mike?
I have Miami.
I'm shocked. Smitty, who do you say is coming out of the East?
Miami as well.
Okay, so we have Miami. You say against Oklahoma City.
Yes.
You say against San Antonio. Who's going to win the finals?
Miami. Repeat.
Ooh, Coach, I have Miami as well. I have Miami and OKC.
Okay, how much will all of this take out of the finalists out of the Western Conference? When you have a rough road to go and you have real competition, we talked about at the top of the show how tough the West is. How much does that take out of you, or does it prepare you for the finals?
Well, I think both. But I think, like you said, it's going to take so much out of either team if it's San Antonio or OKC, and I think that's where I give the advantage to the Miami Heat. One, skill-wise, they have the best player in the game in LeBron James, and I think because of OKC or San Antonio, what they have to go through, Miami Heat will eventually win the finals.
All right, Coach?
That's the answer. They're going to be exhausted when they get up against Miami. Flying by them.
Welcome to the NBA Countdown set. Bill Simmons, it took long enough until the final night of the regular season to come up with the Western Conference field in terms of who is playing whom.
It took so long, Magic and Jalen left. It's just the two of us.
Get out of here.
It's like Survivor. We're getting voted off.
Well, now that we know the 4 series, what are you most interested in seeing?
Lakers Spurs. I can't believe I'm saying that, but this Lakers thing, it's so bizarre to see the Pau Gasol resurgence, to see the Twin Towers, 38 rebounds in Game 82. The way the crowd's been getting into it. San Antonio's not healthy. We don't know if we're getting Manu. Parker hasn't looked good in 2 weeks. I mean, you know.
You're drinking the Kool-Aid.
I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
You got it right here. You're ready to go.
I don't think they're a good defensive team, but the team that I watched in that Houston game played what kind of resembled defense.
Yeah, they had moments.
It really did.
It stretches.
And, you know, I think that's going to be a good series. I think Oklahoma City, Houston, I was more excited for that before I watched these last 2 Houston games. Houston looks like they're running out of gas, especially with James Harden.
A surprise series that I think is going to be entertaining for people who are just looking in at the playoffs. And they may not be your every single day NBA junkie.
Like aliens?
Like aliens. Golden State and the Denver Nuggets.
Ooh.
This is the closest thing you're going to see to ABA basketball in this day of the NBA, where you could get both teams over 100 points in multiple games. We now have a different NBA, an evolving NBA, and you see it in the Western Conference primarily, where teams are not going to want to slow it down. Postseason, slog it out basketball. They're going to try to be up and down the court. This is personified, we think, in Denver, Golden State, and also Memphis, LA, which might look like an old-style basketball series. That should be good as well.
That's an old-school matchup in the sense there's mutual dislike that stems back to last year.
Should be some hard fouls.
Physical series. You have the Zebo-Blake Griffin matchup, no love lost there. You have Chris Paul and Tony Allen, who is, in my opinion, one of the 2 best defensive players on the perimeter. That's going to be a war. And Jamal Crawford, who I'm kind of excited to see what he's capable of in the playoffs. An irrational confidence guy. Has he been in the playoffs?
There's probably a few of those guys. On each team, you can find an irrational confidence guy.
That's
you know what?
Could win 2 games.
They used to call those X factors, but I like irrational confidence guy in the playoffs, which begin Saturday right here on ESPN and ABC.
I plan on watching them.
Glad you do.